Welcome to episode number 26. On today's show, we talk about how to get social engagement, what to do when you get engagement, and why reverse engineering is everything.
When you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
A car salesman.
Said no one ever.
Hi, I'm Patrick Hennessy.
And I'm Courtney Hennessy.
Welcome to the Be Less Typical in Car Sales podcast, a real-life account of the car business that breaks the perception of what it's like to be a car sales professional. During the show, we're going to take you into the lives and minds of those who have found success. So ignite your passion and get ready to learn effective hacks to streamline your success and boost your income.
So, is that your pitch?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. As promised, we're back for another episode with Frank Lopes. If you missed episode number 25, be sure to go back and check it out. You'll get all the background info on Frank, and we lay out the groundwork for this episode.
Which leads us into today's show. We're going to walk you through the how-tos of taking over your dealership's social media presence. If you remember, Frank's top 3 hit lists for social were to analyze the dealership's posts,
Review all messaging to ensure it reaches your target market and across demographics,
watch big brands,
look for synergies and ideas that you can incorporate into your social strategy,
and above all else, don't spam.
Resist the urge to put out posts that you want, and instead opt for posting things that your customers are looking for. We'll get into this one in detail on today's show.
So let's get to it. Frank shares with us what he does when he takes over a dealership's Facebook account.
When I take over a dealership's Facebook account, the first thing that I tell them is that we are not going to sell on Facebook anymore. We're done with that.
Whoa. What?
We're not going to have a post that has anything to do with selling a car or it's a great day to buy a car at Friendly Motors or anything like that. You're not going to see one of those for at least 6 months.
If social messaging's main focus is to sell, you have to turn that strategy on its head. For example, if you're doing social like this,
from cars and pictures of customers and pictures of salespeople and, hey, we just got 30 Malibus in today. Nobody gives a shit.
You turn that entire strategy upside down and refocus it to this.
And I turn it into what everybody wants to see. And what everybody wants to see is, think about it. What do you want to see when you go on Facebook? I hate to put it this way, but when you go to the bathroom and you're sitting there and you got nothing to do and you grab your phone because you're human and everybody does that now. We're attached to our phones on a constant basis. What do you wind up looking at? You wind up scrolling through and you look at a funny video or you look at a picture of a dog and you hit like because it just can't friggin' help but like dog pics. And, stuff that's meaningful to you, stuff that's either entertaining or informative to you. And I'll load a dealer's Facebook page with that.
Frank says this shift in strategy, this pivot, is a game changer. It will change the way and the amount of engagement you get. For example, he says if a dealer has 3,000 followers and let's say most of the posts are happy customers with their new car, they're probably getting 3 to 5 likes per post. But when he implements the new strategy of sharing informative, interesting, puppy-like content, the dealer will see something like 200 to 300 likes per post.
So why is that?
Why? Well, because you started speaking to your customer and started speaking with him instead of speaking at him.
Okay, then why don't we see more of this in our industry? I'm constantly on the lookout on social. I'm looking to see what other dealers are doing, both our in and out of market competition.
Resist the urge to do what everybody else is doing because what everybody else is doing is not working.
Boom. I agree. Most dealerships' social media presence and interaction with their customers lacks in comparison to what other industries and retailers have been able to obtain. So how can we catch up?
Let's list ideas of topics the dealership could post.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few. Holidays are always good. I'm not saying to put a post up for, hey, it's run 2 miles backwards day, because there seems to be a day for friggin' everything now.
Mm-hmm. Frank shares a post he created for a dealer on a holiday.
The post is actually a really good one. It says the USS Arizona continues to spill 9 quarts of oil into the harbor each day. Okay, so that's a fact that most people would not know. That number one, most people don't know that the Arizona still sunk in the harbor that is still sitting there, and that there's still oil in it. And the next part said 74 years later, it's an eerie reminder of that infamous day. #Pearl Harbor. With a photo of the Pearl Harbor Memorial with a bunch of Navy servicemen all saluting.
Okay, so what was the outcome?
Page has 7,000 followers. I boosted the post for $25. I have 499 likes up to now, 79 shares.
That's pretty impressive. Another example are emotional posts that tie to your product.
Exactly. And a couple of days before that, we had a picture of an old Volkswagen Bug with presents strapped to the roof rack, one present's flying away. We photoshopped the present flying away in, and we also photoshopped the dog driving it with a big scarf coming out the window, right? Because people, like I said, people love dogs. If you can take a dog, grab that emotional part of how people love dogs and take the dog and put him into a scenario that has to do with the product or has to do with the dealership. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but that's instant. That's an instant tug right away.
For sure.
So, 265 likes, 32 shares.
Okay, so at this point in our conversation, I'm thinking to myself, is this guy giving it to us straight? You know what they say about advertising sales reps. They're some of the best salespeople in the world. So is this type of engagement really possible? Frank, we love you, but we had to investigate. I began hunting Facebook in search of this strategy.
It's February 14th. We find a dealer page that follows an old school strategy. The page is littered with pics of happy customers and their shiny new car. I'm not going to share the name of the dealership, but they have just under 3,000 page likes. Not bad. However, as we scroll through the posts, I begin to notice that there's rarely a comment. There's less than 5 likes per post, and I couldn't find a post that was shared.
Our search continues, and we find a dealership page using the strategy Frank recommends. Here's what we see. Remember, it's February 14th, Valentine's Day. There's a picture of a man kissing the hood of a car. The image has the dealer logo on it. The caption reads, "Give that man in your life the gift he really wants this year. Things he can use on his car." The article that the image links to is titled, "The 10 Most Romantic Valentine's Gifts for Your Guy, Under $100. The article has nothing to do with buying a new car, and it's not written by anyone affiliated with the dealership.
Currently, the post has 62 likes and 1 comment. Scrolling down a little further, there's a post linking to Kelley Blue Book's list of best family cars.
Definitely an interesting article for a family in search of a car.
We click the link. There are multiple cars on KBB's list. However, a few are made by the brand this dealer sells.
So this post is informative, but it's not a sales pitch.
The post has 86 likes, 1 share, 2 comments. Next, there's a post on trendy decor ideas for the Super Bowl. 100 likes, 1 share. And this next one surprised me by the amount of engagement. It's a pic of Punxsutawney Phil on Groundhog's Day. The photo has 290 likes, 15 comments, and 25 shares.
Wow. I'd say Frank's strategy is proven, in my opinion.
And don't forget about the importance of responding to this engagement, these comments and shares. If you're getting engagement, you probably worked hard for it, so don't let it go to waste. Frank has a policy that every comment gets responded to by the dealership, no matter what.
Now, if you're listening to this and you're a salesperson and you're feeling a little mystified and wondering where you went wrong because you've built your entire social presence around things like happy customer pictures and we just got 15 new vehicles in, don't worry. You haven't gone down the wrong path. Personal branded pages have a different audience than the dealership's page. Personal pages are a place where...
And that is where they can put up pictures of themselves with their customers. That's where they can put up when they go to do a home delivery. That's where they can put a picture of themselves doing the home delivery because the message is completely different. The message of buy a car from World Subaru is completely different than the message of buy a car from Ali at World Subaru.
Frank stands behind having salespeople have their own profiles, building their personal brands and image.
Ali can put up as many pictures of herself with happy customers because it's her. She's pushing her own brand, and her idea is that, I'll take care of if you become a customer, I'll take care of you. That doesn't work on the dealership level anymore.
Okay, so let's break this down before moving on. Resist the urge to post salesy messaging. Resist the urge to post happy customer pictures on your dealership's social profiles. Create content that's informative, has an emotional tie, or that's share-worthy. Think holidays and puppies. Let your salespeople promote their personal brand. It's good dealership exposure, so long as it's tasteful. Always respond to comments on your page.
So where should dealers focus their time and effort? Which social platforms provide the best results?
Frank says it starts with Facebook. Once you have that rolling, branch out.
Frank thinks Instagram is the next up-and-coming platform. Why Instagram?
Instagram as a platform is really growing now. You know, some would say that it grew already, but the growing and the sticking to it is happening now. And the age group of it, the age dynamic of Instagram is much wider than it was 2-3 years ago.
The age demographic is expanding. According to Pew Research, 53% of Instagram users are 18 to 29 years old, so many of them are in the market to purchase a vehicle. In addition, you'll find the majority of Instagrammers to be female.
And just like the other social sites, you need to
be of service to your customers, be of service to your followers, and provide value. You're not going to provide value on Instagram by putting up a picture of a Outback and saying it's a great day to lease an Outback for $239 a month. That's not going to, you know. Once again, we're gonna all we're gonna do is make doctors richer for a spam thumb. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what's going to happen.
What you can do,
you know, but it's great to put a picture of, you know, of the memorial at Pearl Harbor and say, you know, and just write in the caption, remember those who suffered, remember those who sacrificed all for us. Hashtag Pearl Harbor.
Using the Pearl Harbor example reminds me of an important point. Be sure to leverage the content you're creating over multiple platforms because your audience across each social site is probably different. You might need to tweak the language, but you can reuse content across platforms. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's actually smart. And remember that part I mentioned earlier about females hanging out on Instagram?
So do things like try to do things to stay ahead of her. So, for example, in late August, you post a picture of notebooks and loose leaf paper and school supplies and say, you know, and just put in the caption, have you gotten your back to school list from your kids yet? You don't want to be that person online the second day of school.
This is valuable because you're planting a seed in that busy woman's mind that she needs to buy school supplies. Depending on where she's at in life, those supplies might be for her because she's in college, or if she has children, the supplies might be to get her kids set up to start school.
So why is all of this important?
Customers have a preconceived notion about every single car dealership that they've never bought a car from before, and it's always negative. Always. You know, car dealers are the scum of the earth when it comes to customers thinking about buying a car, and they're afraid right away.
True.
And you know it. They come into the store, and the first thing that they are is they're defensive. And rightfully so. For the shenanigans that we pulled so many years ago for so long, we built up our own negative reputation. And now it's also up to us to change that reputation, but we're going to have to do it one customer at a time.
We couldn't agree more. So in closing,
my advice when it comes to this is really simple. Reverse engineer everything that you do. Everything. Think about the end user and what the end user is going to respond to. Putting out messages or putting up posts that are what you want to say more than likely are not going to be what the end user wants to hear today. It's not. Reverse engineer everything. Think about your end user. Think about what he wants to hear. Think about what's on his or her mind. Think about what is important to him or her right now, today, and make the play towards that and set up everything you want to do to talk to that.
Great information. Whether you're running the dealership's social strategy or creating your personal social media strategy, I encourage you to test this theory out. You'll be surprised with the results you receive. We're going to be testing it out on our Facebook page. So if you don't already, be sure to like us and follow us on Facebook.
Again, a special thank you to Frank Lopes. For show notes, go to belesstypical.com/026. If you're listening in iTunes and you like what you hear, leave us a review. It helps others find our show.
Our theme song is by the mysterious Breakmaster Cylinder. All episode editing and mixing is done by us, a couple of amateurs learning as we go.
2 items before we sign off. Number 1, please take a moment to share our show with your friends, family, and coworkers. Sharing is caring, and we appreciate your support. Number 2, if you or anyone you know are conducting car sales in a less typical way, please reach out to us. We want to hear your story, and there's a chance you could be featured on an upcoming show. send me an email so we can connect. My email address is patrick@belesstypical.com.